You don't even have the money to hire a lawyer. My father's voice carried across the courtroom. Sharp. Amused. Like he was telling a joke. A few people laughed. Not loudly. Just enough. I stood there alone at the defense table. Hands resting lightly against the wood. Fingers steady. It didn't come from calm. It came from training. I didn't look at him. I didn't give him the satisfaction. His attorney smirked. No counsel. No case. Just a uniform and attitude. The judge spoke. Mr. Hargrove, he said. That will be enough. My father sat back. The judge turned his gaze to me. Ms. Hargrove, he said. You understand you have the right to representation? Yes, Your Honor. And you are choosing to proceed alone? Yes, sir. He studied me for a moment. Not in judgment. In recognition. Then he nodded. Very well, he said. For the record, she won't be needing one. That was when everything changed. I didn't react. But across the aisle, my father's attorney froze. He had been flipping through a folder. Casual. Practiced. Now his fingers had stopped mid-page. His eyes narrowed. Then widened. Wait, he murmured. What is it? My father asked. The lawyer didn't answer right away. Oh my God, he said quietly. I kept my eyes forward. But I felt it. The shift. Like pressure dropping before a storm. 2 weeks earlier, I had been kneeling in my backyard. Fixing a broken fence panel that shadow had pushed through. The wood was warped. The nails bent. My knee had started aching again. That deep familiar throb. That's when the envelope arrived. Thick. Official. Unmistakable. Portsmouth Civil Court. I didn't open it right away. I already knew who it was from. I wiped my hands on my jeans. Leaned back against the fence post. Shadow rested his head against my leg. I guess it's time, I said to him. Inside the letter was brief. Clinical. Petitioner, Victor Hargrove. Respondent, Nora Hargrove. My father was suing me. Not for money. For control. Family assets. Property rights. Preservation of legacy. Other words too. Irresponsibility. Absence. Conduct unbecoming. Conduct unbecoming, I repeated out loud. Then laughed once. Sharp. Dry. I folded the letter carefully. Not because it deserved care. Because I did. That night, I didn't sleep much. I sat at the kitchen table with coffee that went cold. Every number I considered calling came with the same weight. Explanation. I was tired of explaining myself. I opened the old footlocker. Inside, everything was exactly where I left it. Uniform folded. Medals wrapped. Documents sealed. I ran my fingers over the fabric. People always expect it to feel heavier. It doesn't. Not in your hands. Only when you carry it. I closed the lid. The drive to the courthouse took 45 minutes. Doubt tried its tricks. You should have hired someone. He's going to win. I let them come. Then I let them go. Training teaches you that. You don't fight every thought. You move forward anyway. The sky was gray that morning. Flat. Even the courthouse looked smaller. I parked. Stepped out. Walked inside. Now here I was. Standing across from the man who had spent most of my life deciding what I was worth. Based on who was watching. The clerk called the case. Papers shifted. Somewhere behind me, someone whispered, "Why is she alone?" I didn't turn around. The answer was simple. I wasn't alone. I just wasn't standing next to anyone. And there's a difference. One my father had never understood. My father always believed a life could be measured from the outside. Clean lawn. Straight fence. Firm handshake. I learned that early. When I was 12, I won a regional science competition. A small plaque and a handshake. I remember holding that plaque all the way home. That evening, a neighbor stopped by. Mr. Whitfield. Retired. How are the kids doing? He asked. My father leaned against the porch rail. Good, he said. My son's got a real shot at varsity this year. I stood in the doorway, still holding the plaque. He didn't lie. He just didn't mention me. Years later, when I told him I was enlisting. We don't do that, he said. Run off like that, he added. Join something that puts you in the spotlight for the wrong reasons. The wrong reasons? I repeated. People talk, he said. There it was again. People. Not you'll get hurt. Just people. I'm not doing this for people, I said. That's exactly the problem, he snapped. The day I left, he didn't come to the airport. My mother did. Margaret. You can still change your mind, she said. I won't, I said gently. The years after that were quiet. When my grandfather passed, I didn't make it back in time. I was halfway across the world. Standing on a flight line. He's gone, the message said. Later that night, I opened my foot locker and took out the small compass he had given me. Always know where you are, he used to say. Even if no one else does. I held it in my palm. Watching the needle settle. Steady. Certain. Unlike everything else. Back at the courthouse, my father's attorney stood. Buttoning his jacket. Thank you, Your Honor. We are here to address a matter of family responsibility. Unfortunately, the respondent has demonstrated a pattern of absence, neglect, and conduct that has reflected poorly on that legacy. There it was. Clean. Polished. Wrong. I didn't move. Didn't interrupt. You don't stop someone when they're building a case that can't hold its own weight. You let it finish. While my client has maintained the family property. The family name. The expectations associated with both. Ms. Hargrove has chosen a path that is at best disconnected. A few heads in the gallery shifted. He faced the judge fully. We are not here to punish Ms. Hargrove. We are here to correct a situation. The judge nodded. Mr. Hargrove, do you wish to add anything? My father stood. She walked away, he said. That's the simplest way to put it. Disappointment sharpened into certainty. She left this family. This community. Everything we built. For something no one here asked for. You don't get to disappear for years and then walk back and like nothing happened, he said. I didn't disappear, I replied quietly. You might as well have, he said. The judge raised a hand. Mr. Hargrove, please keep your comments focused. This isn't complicated, my father continued. She made choices. Choices that reflect on all of us. People notice. They talk. They ask why my daughter isn't around. Why she chose that life instead of staying here. Doing something respectable. I felt something tighten in my chest. Not anger. Recognition. Now, he said, voice rising. She stands here. No lawyer. No real defense. She hasn't. The silence that followed was heavier than anything he had said. The judge turned to me. Ms. Hargrove, you may respond. I stood slowly. Not because I needed time. Because I wasn't in a hurry. I didn't abandon my family, I said. I served my country. And I stayed away because my presence was unwelcome. A ripple moved through the room. That's not what I said, my father snapped. You said people would talk, I replied. You said I made you look bad. That's not the same thing. It is when you say it enough times. The judge watched both of us carefully. Ms. Hargrove, can you address the claims regarding your absence? Yes, sir. I opened the leather case and pulled out a folder. I have records, I said. Documentation of my involvement. I handed the documents up to the bench. The judge reviewed them. No one spoke. These payments have been consistent, the judge said. Yes, sir. My father let out a short laugh. That doesn't mean anything. Anyone can send money. That doesn't mean she's present. The judge didn't look up. Mr. Hargrove, you'll wait. The truth doesn't need to rush. It arrives when it's ready. The judge continued reviewing. Ms. Hargrove, you've maintained financial responsibility for the property. Despite not residing here. Yes, sir. Why? I considered it for a second. Because it mattered to my grandfather. And because no one else was doing it. My father scoffed. Always the martyr. You never asked, I said. That landed harder than anything else had. He opened his mouth. Closed it. He didn't have an answer. The judge set the folder down. Mr. Hargrove, you've made several assertions regarding your daughter's conduct. That's correct. And you are confident you are fully aware of that conduct? My father straightened. Yes. No hesitation. No doubt. The judge held his gaze. Very well. We'll explore that. The judge reached for a separate file. Thinner. Marked with a red tab. My father's lawyer noticed immediately. If there are additional documents, he began. There are, the judge said. Mr. Hargrove, are you familiar with your daughter's service record? My father waved a hand. I know she enlisted. That's enough. Is it? The judge asked. Something in the room shifted. Ms. Hargrove was formally recognized by the Department of Defense for her role in coordinating a civilian evacuation during Hurricane Mara. My father blinked. What? She served as logistics lead for a multi-agency evacuation. 47 civilians trapped in a flood zone. Communications compromised. Infrastructure unstable. The judge glanced at the page. No fatalities, he added. The room went completely still. That's not possible, my father said. She never told us anything like that. That does not negate the fact that it occurred, the judge replied. Is that real? My father asked his lawyer. The lawyer swallowed. Yes. It's documented. There's more, the judge said. For the past 8 years, property taxes associated with the Hargrove family estate have been paid in full and on time. I've maintained them, my father started. They were not paid by you, the judge said. Silence. They were paid by Ms. Hargrove. From her active duty income. And later from her disability pension following discharge. No, my father said. That's not. It is, the judge replied. You're telling me, my father said slowly. She's been paying for that property. Yes. And no one told me. The judge looked at him. Did you ask? That question landed harder than anything else had. My father didn't answer. In addition, the judge continued. Ms. Hargrove has made recurring anonymous contributions to the county's Veterans Relief Fund. A few heads in the gallery turned. Those funds were used to provide emergency housing and support for displaced families, including several within this county. My father looked at me again. Really looked this time. You did that? He asked. It wasn't accusatory. It was uncertain. I didn't think it mattered who did it, I said. The judge closed the file. Mr. Hargrove, you've argued your daughter has brought embarrassment to your family and community. My father didn't respond. At this time, the evidence suggests the opposite. The words settled. Heavy. Final. My father's lawyer leaned forward. Your Honor, we would like to request a brief recess too. Denied, the judge said. We are well past that. My father's hands were clenched now. Knuckles pale. I didn't know, he said. To himself. You didn't ask, I said. Softer now. Just true. Mr. Hargrove, the judge said. Can you explain to this court how your daughter's actions constitute embarrassment? My father didn't answer. He couldn't. Because the story he had built didn't match the facts in front of him. Something had shifted too far to be put back. Why didn't you tell me? My father asked. I held his gaze. You never asked. He leaned back slightly. Like the answer had moved him. Before I issue a ruling, the judge said. I want to be clear about what this court has established. Ms. Hargrove has maintained consistent financial responsibility for the family property. She has demonstrated ongoing contribution to the community. And she has served this country with distinction, including actions that directly benefited members of this very community. He let that settle. There is no evidence before this court that her conduct has caused harm to your family's reputation. In fact, the evidence suggests the opposite. My father closed his eyes for a second. This court does not find sufficient grounds to transfer authority over the Hargrove family assets. There it was. The ruling. Clean. Clear. Final. Ownership and control will remain as currently documented. The judge lifted the gavel. Paused. Mr. Hargrove, sometimes what reflects poorly on a family is not what its members do. It's what we choose not to see. The gavel came down. I didn't move right away. Neither did my father. We sat across from each other. In the space left behind by everything that had been said. No victory. No satisfaction. Just clarity. My father relaxed his hands. Like he was letting go of something he'd been holding too long. I was wrong, he said. Quiet. Almost lost. I nodded once. Not in forgiveness. Just acknowledgement. You didn't embarrass me, he said. I did that myself. My father stood slowly. Looked at me one more time. Then walked toward the exit. Not with the same confidence. Just changed. I stayed in the hallway. Sunlight cutting long lines across the floor. A man in a worn veteran's cap stopped. Thank you for your service, he said. I nodded. Thank you for yours. By the time I reached home, the sky had softened toward evening. Shadow was waiting at the door. His tail moved once. Twice. Well, I said quietly. That's done. I laid the uniform jacket carefully over the chair. That night, I slept. Really slept. The next morning, the phone rang. I answered. Victor, Margaret said. Soft. We heard. I figured. He didn't know, she added. I know. He's been sitting on the porch all morning. That sounded right. That afternoon, I drove out to the old family property. It looked the same. Weathered. Steady. Under the porch rail, the initials were still there. Faded. But not gone. I ran my thumb over them. You kept it in good shape. I didn't turn right away. I tried, I said. My father stepped up beside me. I watched that clip, he said. The evacuation. I nodded. I didn't know, he added again. I know. I thought if you weren't here, it meant you didn't care. It meant I didn't feel welcome, I said. He winced. I was wrong, he said. I didn't rush to respond. He reached into his pocket. Pulled out a small watch. My grandfather's. I kept this, he said. Didn't know what to do with it. He held it out. I think I do now. I took it carefully. Thank you, I said. He nodded. Stepped back. Giving space. As the sun began to set, the light stretched across the field in long, quiet lines. We stood there a little longer. Not talking. Not fixing everything. Just standing. Because sometimes that's where it starts. That night, I placed the watch on the table beside the compass. Two things pointing in different ways. Both steady. Both certain. If this story reminded you of someone you misunderstood or someone who never felt seen, take a moment. Sometimes the hardest conversations are the ones we never start. If you felt something in this story, share it. Let me know where you're listening from. We have more stories like this for Twisted Family Revenge Stories. Stay with us. Let's keep walking this path together.